guys, it's April. January has ended, which means it is January wrap-up time. Now, I already did a mid-January wrap-up if you want to check that out. I will link it above my head and down below. This is the first 9 books that I read of the year, but now, this time around, I have all of these books that I want to talk about. I'm just gonna go right into all of these reads because I'm excited to talk about some of them, other ones not so much, but you need to hear about them because you just do. Honestly, you just do. Now the first book I want to talk about is this lovely, lovely little book. This of course is In the Hands of the Goddess by Tamora Pierce. This is the second book in the Song of the Lioness Quartet. Obviously part of my Read Tortal read along. I'm really, really enjoying doing these. It is good to get back into this series and just to remember all of the things that were going through my brain when I read it the first time and the second time and third or fourth time. So yes, this is a series I very, very much enjoy. I enjoy all of this universe. This follows Alana as she is becoming a knight. She has switched places with her twin brother, and if that means she is pretending to be a boy. Now the second book probably isn't my favorite in the quartet. There are some issues I have with some of the relationships that start to form in this book, and just the overall pacing of the story. Sometimes I want it to slow down so I can get more of the story. You can tell this is early on in Tamora Pierce's writing because in these early books everything is really condensed and happens really, really quickly, and then later in her other books things start to slow down and you start to get more depth. But overall I really, really do enjoy these characters and I can't wait to get further into the series. If you want to join me in this read along, I will link all of the information down below so that you can join along. It's great fun. I'm having so much fun hearing all of your guys' thought as you go through this series. And then I was really surprised that I even picked up this book. My fiance gave me this latest edition of the Saga series. I have a on and off relationship with this series overall. I have some issues with how they sexualize some of the characters, but it is interesting to see some of the things that they're trying to bring up in the story and some of the things that they're trying to say. I can see what they're trying to do. I just struggle a little bit with that. And of course, Saga is a series about a family on the run because they are interraced and they had a child together. It is interesting to see all the things that happen and all the things that have developed in this universe, but I struggle with it a little bit. I also picked up How to Be a Boss by Lilly Singh. This is just her guide on how to be a boss, how she went from point A to point B and developing her brand and getting out there and doing stuff and doing what she wanted to do with life. It gives a lot of stories and anecdotes in such a positive way, which I have to really commend her for doing. A lot of it isn't new, but it's just the way it's presented in such a positive, enthusiastic way. I really, really, truly enjoyed it, and it got me excited about doing all the things that I want to do and maybe putting some more passion behind it and continuing forward. I highly recommend it to anybody who is doing their own business or doing their own creative adventure. It is a very interesting read, but I also really, truly enjoy the way that Singh presents the content. Even her YouTube channel. I enjoy watching her YouTube channel. I also received a copy of Wire and Nerves by Marissa Meyer. This is volume 2, Gone Rogue. I did a full review of this. I will link it everywhere, of course, so that you can go check it out for a more in-depth thought process on all the stuff going on. And yes, I did receive this copy for review, but trust me, it did not hinder my opinion at all. I give it to you straight out. This is the second volume in Aiko's journey, which takes place after winter but before the last story in Stars Above. I love Aiko so much. It was great to get back with these characters and get a conclusion for what was going on in volume 1. There were some things that tripped me up a little bit, one of them being that the illustrator actually changed in this volume. I don't know if most people will pick it up, but it is one of those things that I have to mention because it's just something that I of course noticed. And then I think they could have delved deeper into a lot of the story that they just didn't, mainly because of the format and how long everything would have been if they had truly gone totally off the deep end with some of the things that I wanted them to really, really cover. But overall, I really, really enjoyed it, just getting back in this world and seeing everybody again. I will always enjoy that. I also finally picked up Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. This is the third installment of the Diviner series, which takes place in the 1920s, and you get to see all of the supernatural culture of the era, the seances, the asylums, the ghosts, all of the thought processes and everything that goes on in that. I don't know how much I want to tell you about this story itself because it will contain a lot of spoilers, but it mostly centers around a cast of diviners who all have different kind of abilities and them fighting an evil that is trying to take over. It deals with a lot of the traditional supernatural stuff you always hear about when you think about the 1920s, and it does it in such a good way. I love the way Libba Bray writes characters and the depth she gives a lot of things, and how she's not afraid to dive into some of these social issues that are around. This is a very diverse group of people, trust me, it is, and it's amazing. And this story broke me at points because Libba Bray isn't afraid to go dark. This book just left me in awe, so I can completely understand how this book gets a lot of love because it got a lot of love by me. I enjoyed it so much, but I also sometimes really like those dark issues, especially when you delve into the supernatural realm. I also picked up Girls Made of Snow and Glass by Marissa Bashardoust. I think that's how you say it. This is a story of Mina and her stepmother, Lynette. It is a nice mix between Snow White and the Snow Queen. I really liked seeing the relationship between Mina and Lynette and seeing how that female relationship developed and what it was and how messed up some things like that could be. It takes a look at female relationships and how males can try and influence things, and just standing up and being a woman is sometimes hard. I really wanted to like this story, but I had issues with some of the pacing and then how some of the characters developed. I especially struggled with the character of Mina. There were points where she just seemed so innocent and so annoying that I struggled to actually like her. And maybe a little bit that was done intentionally, but then when certain things happen in the story and she's supposed to become more, she stumbles into it in a way that just, I don't know. I wanted more from that character. I was analyzing the magic in this story, and the fact if you have snow magic and it can basically do anything, there can't be a magic without consequences. There can't be a perfect magic. And when a perfect magic is entered into a story, it drives me nuts because then you can just have a perfect ending, and that just doesn't exist. If you have a snow magic, well, does it make sense that you can make a warm cloak, or does it make sense that you can make food that actually nourishes your body? If you can do everything, then you're pretty much God. And I don't like when characters get written as if they're gods. And so I started taking issue with the magical system and asking all kinds of ridiculous questions that just attracted me from the story. Overall, I liked where they were trying to take all of the female characters and what they were trying to do with it, but I struggled with the magic in some of the characters. It was a thing. I also picked up Reckless Magic by Rachel Higginson. This is the story of 16-year-old Eden, who is starting yet another school. Odd things always seem to happen around her that ends up getting her kicked out of schools. But here at this school, she finally starts to make friends. She finally starts to understand who she is. And then of course, it just goes really bizarre. She ends up learning that there's more to this world than meets the naked eye. And of course, there's that cute boy that will not leave her alone. I did not know going into this that the author was a fellow Nebraskan native, and so when a lot of Nebraska things started getting mentioned, I'm like, what is going on? No one ever puts anything in Nebraska unless they want to make it like a Hick story, and trust me, all of us Nebraskans are not Hicks. It's just to see an author put something in the middle of the United States. It was fun. But overall, I think the story could have used a little bit more. It took on a lot of tropes, it took on a lot of stereotypes, and then of course you have that love interest that is a butthead to the extreme, and yet you're supposed to be on his side. And at this point in my life, I cannot get behind that when it's done too far. If she says, leave her alone, leave her alone. And no, you cannot continue to think he's okay, even after, you know, putting you in situations that are just not good or healthy for you. That was my soapbox for the day. So yes, I was extremely excited that something, for once, took place in some place that I knew, but not so much the rest of the story. And then there was Flame in the Mist by Renee Ahdieh. Of course, I knew I was gonna have such fun going into the story because I do love a good gender bender, which is why I really like the Song of the Lioness Quartet. Once again, you get a girl pretending to be a boy for most of the book. This is the story of Mariko and how she dies. Mariko finds herself in a situation where to find and avenge her own attack, she has to become a boy and join a band of bandits. I've heard a lot of people compare this to Mulan, but I don't know enough about Mulan besides the Disney movie to give it that comparison. But it does deal with the samurai and the samurai culture. I enjoyed just seeing Marika try and survive with this gang. There was some interesting magic things that got pulled in here as well. I enjoyed the journey and just seeing things from different perspectives. There was one twist that I ended up seeing coming, but not until it was almost too late, which I do enjoy when I get tripped up like that. So overall, I really liked seeing the samurai culture pulled in. Parts of it started feeling a little bit like an anime, but maybe that was just me. And so I am looking forward to picking up the next book in the series. So that has been my reading month so far. I am actually surprised with how much I am reading right now. I'm not going to turn it off because I enjoy it so very much. Tell me down below what your favorite book of the year so far is. I know it's only the first month, but tell me what your favorite book so far is, and I heart your beautiful faces. Bye.